You're on TV, on a soap, for instance, it's a whole different thing, because they do a very special thing when they die. They talk while they're dying. So it's got something like, John? You? Why? And then usually it's about 10 minutes of dialogue, because you have to fill the airtime, really, because there's no budget. And then there's another thing, there's operas, and loads of people die in operas. There's like usually about 200 people on stage, and a couple of horses and stuff like that. I don't know what happens in the end, I usually fall asleep. But what usually happens, they burst into song. So they die, and then they sing, which anyone with a bit of voice training knows that it's pretty hard to pull off if you're being shot in the chest. And it must be an awesome warm-up, really, to compensate for that kind of... Anyway, so what happens is, the main character dies, and he starts to sing, and he goes, I'm dying! I'm dying! I'm just stating the obvious, really. There's never really any clever dialogue in operas, I feel, because it's always explaining what's happening in the moment. Because most of the audience can't really see what's happening. It's 200 people on the stage, so face it, you can't pay attention to anything in detail. So they just narrate as they go along. I'm dying! I'm still dying! And then the guy misses his cue and I'm dying! I'm dying! I'm dead! I'm finally dead! So that's why I don't like operas, really. So that was my attempt at stand-up. I must say I'm finding this really hard because I'm not from around here. I was born in Switzerland. Yeah, no round of applause. People usually get confused. People don't really know Switzerland. Is it Swaziland? Oh yeah, right. It's a strange country because the whole country is based on milk. I've got a theory on this, and it's actually quite true. You have a country that's basically most of it is mountains, and what grows on mountains, if anything, is grass. So they have to cut the grass every single once a week probably. And what can you do with grass? You feed it to cows, and cows produce milk. So there's shitloads of milk. There's shitloads. There's actually, and they don't know what to do with it. So what they did, they put it into chocolate. They didn't actually invent chocolate. That was the Incas, and the Spanish then brought it over. But the Swiss were the first ones to put milk into it. Yeah, absolutely. There's shitloads of chocolate now. Don't know what to do with that. And there's watches, which is basically because the farmers have fuck all to do in the winter time. Because, let's face it, it's just cows, and they're, in the stable. So what they did, and this is actually true, what they did, they just built watches smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, because they were bored. They were fucking bored. That's what actually happened. So it's milk, chocolate, cheese, the thing with cheese is, the only reason they made cheese is because it's easier to roll a log of cheese down a mountain than actually carry the milk. It's pure laziness. And then I'd sit at home and build fucking tiny little watches. And that's why no one takes it seriously, really. And humour isn't a big thing. So yeah, I think I'll end on that note. Thank you very much.